Yay! Hello, everyone. Welcome to our House of Earth and Blood live show, first book in the Crescent City series. This is crazy. This is the
Ugh,
final series of the Sarah J. Maas read along, which,
it's so
like,
crazy.
it's been almost a year.
I do you know I was just thinking that yesterday. Like, oh my god, it's been almost a year.
Yeah. Like 10 months, but like still, like,
Wow. Can you believe we've been doing this for almost a year?
I know. I remember finishing House of Sky and Breath and like messaging you, being like, I have this crazy idea.
Oh my god, I remember when you messaged me, I was in bed and I remember me and him were like just like watching TV and you messaged me and I screamed. I was like,
I'm so excited to talk about this series. So, here it is, House of Earth and Blood. If you didn't know, Christine and I both have obviously read this. I mean, the Throne of Glass series was kind of an anomaly because that was what you hadn't read yet. But then the rest of this was pretty much all rereads. Catwoman also. But anyways, we've read this, so 5 stars, obviously, for
ah.
both of us. Like, and when I was rereading this, I was thinking to myself, like, I kind of forgot how much I love this series and like these characters in this world because I love Throne of Glass and ACOTAR so much, and I feel like I'm always talking about them. But like sometimes I'm like, I obviously know that I love it and it's 5 stars, but like rereading this, I'm like, damn, why don't I talk about this more?
I swear I really do think this is my favorite series. I mean, given the amount of times I've reread them
Yeah.
in the span of like 1 year. Because this is my fourth time reading Crescent City in the same year. Like, this is an 800-page book. This is something that is kind of like insane. But I love this series to death, and every time I reread it, I discover more and more details that I like forget about
Yeah.
constantly. And the way it's written and the world building, the descriptions, the characters, everything about this series is just so like this series might be my favorite series, but I love the other ones for like Akamath and Sif might still be my favorite books that she's ever written,
Right.
but this might be my favorite series that she's ever written.
I re-tabbed everything.
I
So
was
like
going to, but I kind of was cramming and I couldn't just sit down and stuff. It was
I
a crazy.
can't like look at all those so I
I
can't.
cannot wait to go ham when I reread this again. Like I
I
can't wait.
I re-tabbed it, so I used like different colors so that they match it a little better because I used to
Mhm.
use the neon ones and now I don't really care for those.
Me
Um,
too.
but also like I was adding tabs, and this is my third time reading this book, so it was just really fun to like go through and be like, why didn't I tab that the first time?
Literally, like every single time I listen to it, because I love these audiobooks. They probably are my favorite audiobooks of all
Oh,
time. Like these
yes.
audiobooks are superb. They're so great to listen to. And every time I listen to this audiobook, I like forget how like amazing this is written.
This narrator is the same narrator, if you didn't know, as the Throne of Glass series,
Yes.
Elizabeth Evans, and she just does such a phenomenal job
It's so
with
good.
reading the story, but like giving the characters voices, and she does
Mhm.
accents for certain characters, and just like the way that she reads the story. Oh my God, it literally makes me want to cry because I just love it's like her voice is like so like
Dude,
nostalgic to me.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, so oh, it's so good.
I loved it. Loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. I
Oh, that's
reread
great.
it probably 5 more times this year. It's fine. We're used
Yeah.
to it. Also, I want to
So,
point out I left my bookmark in here.
oh, I love that. I don't have my bookmark in here, but I have one that says it's red and gold and says through love all is possible.
I love it.
So let us know if you're watching. Let us know what you rated it, what your overall thoughts were, if it was your first time reading it, or if this was a reread for you. Let us know in the comments.
This is going to be
Um,
a long live show because I
I
have
know. I'm ready. So, also fair warning here. I try to make it extremely obvious that there are going to be spoilers. So, if you haven't read this book yet and you don't want to be spoiled, you're going to need to leave now. Like the live show here, this is not for you. Go read the book, come back and watch it. We won't be talking spoilers for any of the other Sarah J. Maas books. we really try not to. So we won't be talking any other spoilers. So if you haven't read any of her other books and all you've read is this one, then you're good to go. But this book, we will be talking massive spoilers, and we jump around a lot. We get lost in our excitement. So this is the spoiler warning.
What I'm wearing?
Oh yeah. Do you have your t-shirt too? Your Roon Dannon t-shirt?
No, it's in my laundry. I'm probably gonna wear the t-shirt next time, but I also ordered something else for the next live show because I now have an addiction, okay? It's a full-on addiction.
Bookish merch is the best. I just ordered, like, while I was reading this, I just ordered a Crescent City University crew neck. Is that what you did? I was like, I had it added to my cart, and as I was reading this and like hearing them talk about like Sunball and stuff, I'm like, I'm just gonna buy it.
That was literally during my reread. I was listening to this in my car, and I was like, I need a Crescent City crew neck. It was already in my cart. I was literally at a red light and purchased it.
I also have a Roon Dannon t-shirt in my cart right now that I haven't added or haven't like purchased yet, but
I have a Roon
Dannon I love Roon
bookmark that I'm waiting to get so I can use it when I reread Hosab. But I'm still waiting on it. It's just taking forever to get here. I ordered it at the same time I ordered this and my Valaris sweater. But it's taking a while to get here.
I love bookish merch.
I love anything bookish, anything Sarah J. Maas. I will buy. Yeah,
I have so much Sarah J. Maas merch. I just want more.
I will continuously buy more.
Hi, Ami. Yay, I'm glad you can finally watch it live. Hi, Kim. I know you've been waiting.
So excited.
I'm so glad you're here. Love that cover, Christina. Yes, I like the original cover, but people are just so talented. I have so many different like dust jackets for it.
I'm going to be buying.
The series has the new Fairy Loot like special editions and the Illumicrate ones coming out, and I think you ordered both of them too, right?
I don't think I ordered the Fairy Loot ones. I didn't get there on time. They sold out by the time I was able to get there, but the Illumicrate one I definitely bought because that one
I ordered both of them.
I forgot about the Fairy Loot one. My dumbass set my alarm to the wrong day.
Oh, I've done that before.
So I was like, damn. And
or the wrong time zone. I've done that before too.
That was like, that's my issue. The time zone, especially since like the Illumicrate one, I was very like thing about because I was like, okay, this is completely different continent. Let me make sure I'm doing this correctly.
Yeah. Hi, Cammie. My favorite Sarah J. Maas series as well. Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
Finally on time. Yay, I'm so glad so many people are here. The series is so complex. It's crazy. I know. That is one of the things we'll talk about because there's a lot of world building in this book.
There's so
and even rereading it, I'm still like, you know, the gears are constantly turning with all of the world building. So
I read this for the first time December of 2021. And I've read it. This is my fourth time reading it. And I still am like, I still can't tell you every single detail. Nor can I tell you half the details.
And I'm like trying to like study it like a textbook too. Like,
I can't
all this stuff.
So much.
Like the different houses.
Yes.
And like they're also like the map in here is for the city. But stuff is talked about like in the world or like on the continent that I'm trying to picture it, and I just wanted a map for the continent.
Yeah, I know.
I wish there was 2 maps.
I wish.
I haven't finished book 2 because Crescent City 3 hasn't been announced. I'm not ready for the waiting game. You're gonna be waiting for a while. I was hoping that we would get an announcement for the release date at least, like at the end of 2022, and that didn't happen. So I was really hoping that would be my Christmas gift from Sarah, but she must have forgot.
I really, really want it just so I have something to look forward to in my life.
Right.
Like, I just need something, and I want to already set the date at my job. Like, do not call me. I am off this day. I'm taking it right out of Hannah's playbook, y'all.
I'm taking 2 days back to back, so I can have a little bit of time to recover.
I might do the same thing because like they usually get released on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I think I might give myself Tuesday and then Wednesday to just like recuperate because I'm gonna need, because mind you, when I pre-order my books, I pre-order through my local indie bookstore, and I always get them like a week in advance. But I
Oh
like
my
the
god,
audio.
yeah, you got House of Sky and Breath like a week
So
early, and I was like, God
got it a whole
damn.
week early. My bookstore is great. But I like listening to the audiobook. So like at least I know I'll have the book in my hand.
Yeah.
The minute I wake up to the minute that I go to sleep, I will be reading this probably 1,000-page book, okay?
Oh, and I'm sure that we're going to have like a giant reading sprint
Oh my
thing
god,
with all
yes.
of our friends because we're all like
I'm pretty
dying.
sure all of us are taking that day off.
Yep.
I'm almost certain we're all going to take that day
Yeah.
off.
So I started, if you didn't catch on, I started taking the day off on Sarah J. Maas release days, like celebrating it like it's a holiday.
Literally.
And it's just like, listen, it's just like the best thing ever because first of all, you don't have to go into work. So there you go. But second of all, like your brain is already going to be thinking about it all day anyways. So like you might as well enjoy it and read it
Literally.
right when it comes out. It's just the best.
I'm so excited. Like I'm so excited.
I have okay, so Sarah said in an interview also that once she got back from maternity leave, it would be about 18 months to 2 years for when Crescent City 3 will be coming out. So, or did she say it was from the release date of Crescent City 2?
Too.
So, 18 months would put it at an August release of
Yeah,
this
I think
year.
it's going to be a summer release.
And then we still have like 4 months at the end of the year to be in that time frame if she keeps to that time frame. So I'm really hoping that we hear that it's going to come out this year for sure. I know there's a lot of pessimistic people that are like, we're not getting it until 2024. I don't know. We're not doing that. We are saying it's coming out this year.
You're
She
manifesting.
she usually announces the release date about 8 months before the actual release date. So it could be coming any day now. Could be
I hope
coming
so.
any day.
So I think me and you talked about this actually. So her books usually release around February, but we think we might get the release day in February is what we're hoping for probably the end of the year. And that's just I'm praying that it happens. That's what I want for Valentine's Day. Okay, you guys. Like I don't need a date. I just need to know when I get my other date with Roon Dannon. That's all I care about.
I'm really hoping that it's coming out anytime, any day now. She's gonna post about it. So
Her notifications are
hopefully.
on. Okay, I have
Yeah.
notifications on. The minute that it's announced, I will know.
I'm like one of like it says like posted like 10 seconds ago, and I'm like instantly I drop everything.
I'm gonna have an alert just pop up. I'm watching too much of The Circle. I'm like, I'm gonna have a freaking
As
alert.
soon as it says at the real Sarah J. Maas posted, I'm like, excuse me.
And you know one thing I'm also very excited for? I cannot wait for the cover release. Because
Oh
like
my
these
God.
covers are stunning.
What color do you think it's gonna be?
I don't know.
So the original Akatar was red, blue, green.
Green. Okay, I was
And now
thinking
this is red, blue, green.
I was thinking green, but I had no logic behind it. I just
Maybe that's why.
thought green. And then I was like, then maybe like a yellow for possibly book 4 is what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
There's no logic behind it. Like I don't know why these colors are in my head.
I think it could be green or maybe purple.
Purple. Yeah. That's so weird.
So I don't know. That's just a silly thing. I don't have
There's
any.
no like logic or anything behind
Yeah.
it. I think it might be like a green. I think it might be like, like a good I don't know. I don't know what kind of green, but like a good shade of green. Okay.
Yeah.
Not like a bright green. I'm talking about like a nice, good, dark, maybe like a matte type green.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I particularly love Elizabeth Evans' voice as Danica. Yeah, she just does such a good job. I hope that she narrates the rest of Sarah J. Maas's books. Did she narrate Catwoman? Let me look.
I don't.
I know she did the Throne of Glass series, and then Jennifer Ikeda and Amanda Lee Cobb did the Akatar series, and then some random person did A Court of Silver Flames, and it was terrible. Julia Whalen did Catwoman. She's a good narrator too, Julia Whalen is. But I just love it. Elizabeth Evans. She just, to me, is the voice of Sarah J. Maas books. So
Honestly, I completely agree. Like, also, this is like completely off topic, but like, is it bad that I'm already planning my reread of Throne of Glass?
I
Haven't even finished Kingdom of Ash.
literally, I'm doing the same thing. Yeah, Christina,
Oh
you
my
need
god,
to
it's such a good
finish Kingdom of Ash. You need to finish Kingdom of Ash. That needs to
I'm
be a thing
starting
that
it. I'm
happens.
literally going to start it, if not today, tomorrow.
Oh,
It's already in my planner. It's already like the video idea has already cultivated. I am like literally waiting for like, so my boyfriend is a huge Giants fan, and I'm making oxtails today for the Giants game. So like my entire thing is I will be listening to the audiobook and probably starting it when I'm making the oxtails.
yes.
It's ox-
Finally.
2 hours to make. So I'm like, I can get like 2 hours, but I really want to annotate it. So here's my dilemma, okay? I don't have time to sit down and annotate, but
Just
I have
annotate on the reread.
you know what I'm going to do? I'm probably going to just when I have time to sit down, I'll sit down and annotate. I'll listen, and then when I'm going to be rereading these books for the rest of my life, probably once a year, I'll
Yeah.
annotate them eventually.
Right. This was is your name pronounced Laya or Leah? Laya? Your
Is that an
first
L or
time?
an I?
What?
Is that an L or an I?
Oh, I don't know. It looked like an L to me,
I thought it was an I.
like a lowercase L.
I thought it
Let
was.
us know how to say your name. But first time reading it, first book of 2023. What a great way to start the year off.
Honestly, the
Here.
best way to start the year off is with some Sarah J. Maas beautiful goodness.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Still rereading, but it's obviously 5 stars. Absolutely. Second
Yeah.
time. I ordered both. Yes. Oh
I'm
my god, I
so
can't wait for those.
mad. I wanted the Fairy Loot edition so bad.
Sarah's so quiet with everything. Yeah, she used to be like fairly active on social media, but then like when she became more popular, people got more mean and like
Very
kind of
mean.
like ruthless. So she has not been on social
You
media a
wanna talk
lot.
about ruthless? Remember that, girl that was, everyone was
Oh,
rumoring that was apparently going to
yes.
be casted as
All
Feyre for
she did was follow
that's
Sarah.
all she did was follow
And
Sarah J.
people, like,
Maas.
bullied the crap out of her. There are some listen, Christina and I are die-hard Sarah J. Maas fans, but there are some Sarah J. Maas fans that are, like, literally crazy. Like,
Like,
they
they're
go
brutal.
too hard.
Like, they're brutal, like, you can't touch their baby
Yeah.
even though, like,
They bullied that poor girl
that
off
think
the
they
internet.
wrote the books.
Yeah.
Like, those are the kind of fans like, there are some crazy ACOTAR fans out there, and we don't associate with them, okay?
No. We are die-hard fans. We will take the day off of work on a release day, but we are not that crazy.
No, we're not psychopaths,
We
okay?
are
I might wake up at
nice.
5 in the morning to start the book, okay?
Yeah.
That's normal for me, okay? That is with the time I wake up, y'all, okay? It's not psychopath behavior. I'm just a crazy fangirl, that's all.
Crescent City 3 and the ACOTAR show must be really occupying her time. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the show adaptation is definitely taking a lot of time up from, like, her normal writing
yeah.
routine,
She
and
is
also
also
now she has 2 kids,
yeah,
so
I mean, the children and also, she is helping writing the show. Like, she is assisting
which
in
is good.
which is
I don't
it's going to be time consuming. I know
I
you're
don't
not
want the ACOTAR show to happen. I want it to just go away. I will not watch that.
I'm debating. I think I will watch it, but my expectations are so low. Like, they're so low. Like,
I
they
really do hope that they do a good job with
I
it
really
and
hope.
that people are happy with it and that it's not like a complete flop,
But, like, my
which I
only
don't
worry
think it will be, but I personally don't wanna watch it.
I'm just worried about the characters in my head.
Yeah, I don't want to see anything else from anybody else's vision apart from what I have created in my own head. I wanna keep the
Literally.
characters and keep the world as I see it and not picture, like,
Think.
'cause any other adaptation that I've seen, now if I reread the books, it's, like, really hard not to picture the actors and, like, the sets and stuff, and I don't wanna
Mhm.
do that to my babies. I took the day off of work for ACOWAR when it came out. It was a great decision. Yeah, you'll never regret that. It's just gonna be great. Fingers crossed that it comes out this year. We have 12 months of waiting. Yeah,
I really like
I really want a 2023 release. I put it in my reading journal, in my most anticipated releases of the year because I'm just like, I refuse to say it won't come out this year. Like,
I really, really need it in my life. Like, just the fact that, like, it's kind of crazy that, like, there isn't a Sarah J. Maas book coming out at the moment because it's like I'm so used to there always being one coming out
I
every
know.
year. So, like, it's kind of weird to think about that, like, we don't get one. But at the same time, I'm just like,
There was a time in the world, guys, when she came out with 2 books
a year.
a
I remember
year,
that. I
and it
remember
was glorious. Let's get back to those times.
honestly, because I would. Okay, ready? Let's like this is not gonna happen, but like, can we just like pretend? Right? We all know Crescent City 3 will be the next book to be released. Like, we all know this.
Yeah.
But like, can you imagine if she comes back with like just like a punch and be like, look, okay, y'all, you guys are gonna get Crescent City 3, but you guys are also getting the 5th book in the ACOTAR series.
Yeah, and let's go all out, and she's got a whole other series that she's
Honestly, do not like do her wrong, y'all. This could be possible. Sarah J. Maas
want it.
she was a teenager, okay? She has so many stories in her head, but like, guys,
I
even,
remember
like,
following her. I remember following her Pinterest when she
oh my
still did
God.
Pinterest. Back when like the ACOTAR series hadn't even like the original trilogy hadn't even finished yet. And I remember seeing her create a board called Crescent City and like looking at the things that she was posting in that board because it's like a mood board basically
Yeah.
is what she uses it for, like for inspiration. And I remember trying to like make the synopsis of this book in my head because she hadn't ever talked about it. I just saw her say Crescent City and it was all these like magical creatures and I was like, what is she up to? Like I felt like I had the inside scoop.
It's so fun. Like, I'm so excited just for like another Sarah J. Maas book in general. But like I think that's probably why I keep putting off Kingdom of Ash so much because
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to look forward
But
to.
then you just reread them with me.
Which is what I'm going to do anyway.
Yeah.
Which like I'm so excited to reread them also because I feel like now that I know what happens and stuff, it's going to be so much fun to go back and
To go
see
back.
the beautifulness that is
The
her
Easter
foreshadowing.
eggs. Yep.
Because look, Sarah J. Maas will foreshadow something from page 1 that happens in book 7. Okay, I know her, and I cannot wait to like dig and be like a little detective and like pin those things out. Like, that's going to be so much fun.
It's her brain. Oh, it's unmatched.
I can't even understand how she does these things, and like how she keeps up with it too for all the other books. Me too.
Yeah, I'm curious what the cover is gonna look like. I
Thank
just need the release date though.
Oh my god! So I saw the
The audiobooks are so good.
so good. The Throne of Glass series, like the new ones, the new covers are
Oh
coming
yeah.
out on Valentine's Day, right?
Mhm.
And my boyfriend was asking me, "Babe, what do you want to do for Valentine's Day?" I'm like, "We're going to Barnes and
We're
Noble
going to
to
get those books.
use the Throne of Glass series." He was like, "Huh?" I was like, "We're going to go to Barnes and Noble." He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Sarah J. Maas has a whole new collection I need to get." He was like, "You own every book." I'm like, "I don't own these editions."
It's not the same.
Not the same. It's just not the same. God, he was like, "Baby, you don't have space." I'm
Yeah.
like, "I
Got it.
understand that. I'm going to make space. It's fine. I do not have space. No, I do not, but it's fine."
Leah is how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
Who would you cast for the ACOTAR show?
no clue.
I don't even know.
Hannah's like,
I don't have any
no.
fan cast in my head. I will say I do like all of the fan art that people come up with, but there's been like times where I'll look at it and I'll go like, "Oh, that's the closest one."
Yeah.
But it's never like exactly how I picture it in my head. So I don't even try to cast
For me, it's
anybody.
like if the characters can at least look close enough to their descriptions, but you know what? If they portray the actual character the way I want them to, I would rather them portray the characters better than look the way that they do aesthetically.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever.
I mean,
But
as long as they're all hot.
yeah, they're all going to be hot because I mean,
but like I feel like I don't know. I'm too critical of those things because like I'll be like, well, that's not the right shade of hair color or something like that, or like
because they're going to make minor details to
right,
the
right. Like I'll just be like, oh, they like I don't know.
I just want to see how they're going to do the show. Like, are they going to make each season just a whole book, or are they going to dial it down? And like I don't really know how they're going to do it because they could do a lot. These books, they can make a long show with these 3.5 books. Then you have Akasif. Like, there's a lot that they can do, and I just want to know. I just want them to do it right.
Part of me kind of just like wants to throw up at the thought that this is like a real thing that's gonna happen, because then everybody is gonna know about like this like little thing that I've held so close and near and dear to my heart.
I completely agree, right? Like, this is something that I feel like has been mine, or like ours, like our really small community, for such a long time, and then it's going to end up
it's like going to be mainstream. Everybody's going to hear about it because it's going to be like a Game of Thrones kind of situation.
Because it's like, like we already have.
And then people are going to be like, I don't know.
Because mind you, like this is obviously a story about a book, right? And this is my favorite book by my favorite author of all time. This is probably one of my favorite series of all time. And it's like, but these are my babies. Exactly. These are my babies.
So, it like, more worries me than anything, though.
That people are going to say something about my babies. Because what I don't want you to do is I don't want you then to watch the show, read the book, and then critique the books.
Right.
People love doing that.
Or just like, I don't know. I just feel like even if they miss like one detail and I'm like, that's
things that they're going to miss.
Like, why would you not include that? Or something like that.
There's gonna be details where I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. If you don't include this, and how does this, like, how are you gonna execute this that happens in book 2? Like, it's going to be.
Or even if they like change something to make it flow better to be a show versus being a book, I'm gonna be like upset about it. So I'm not gonna touch the adaptation with a 10-foot pole.
My thing is too, it's like, mind you, this is a fantasy world. And if they don't have the budget to make the fantasy world the way it's deserved to be portrayed, I'm going to be a little disappointed, because I want you to at least like do your best to portray it the way it should be. Yeah. Because it is a fantasy world. Like, you should give it justice.
I just want to see these characters come to life. Pretty forgiving. I am not forgiving. Which I know that about myself, and that is why I'm out.
I'm just excited to see how they create.
I really do hope that the people who want to watch the show and like are really excited about it, I hope it's good for you.
I want to watch it, but I'm hesitant about watching it. But I do want, like, I will probably watch it. I probably will be watching it. I'm just very nervous. She says it and then sighs dramatically. Yeah.
It was good times.
Ugh, I hope we get those back again. That'll be so nice.
I'm late to the fandom, so I've never had to wait for a release. Wow. I'm waiting for Crescent City 3 and Avatar 5. I don't like waiting. Girl.
I'm just happy you get to enjoy all the Sarah J. Maas content.
I will never forget the wait between Empire of Storms and Kingdom of Ash.
I knew it.
Because I had to wait a full year for a new book.
When it was Tower of Dawn.
And the book we got was Tower of Dawn. I had to wait another year.
I knew
2 years for the story to actually continue. It leaves off on this cliffhanger, heartbreaking moment. And then I'm like, finally, I get to continue the story. And she's like, LOL, no. Anyway, 2 years.
Do you know, okay, so I think about my reread, and I don't know if I'm going to do the tandem read when I reread. But I think I might try it without it to then see how I like it.
I will be curious to know your thoughts when you do that. So you'll have to let me know.
Yeah, because I think it'll be easier for my mind, but I'll hate myself at the end.
Yeah, you're going to finish Empire of Storms, and you're going to start Tower of Dawn. You're going to be like, God damn it.
Literally, I'm going. That's exactly what's going
to happen. Leah is on Air of Fire. I will take my time with that series. I know I'll grow attached to those characters. Oh.
Listen. Yeah.
Air of Fire?
Get into it.
Leah, Air of Fire is where that series, like, okay, the
Takes
series
off.
is perfection to me, but Air of
Yeah.
Fire is where it, like,
Just
really takes off.
it gets
Yeah.
so
Like,
much better, like incredibly better after Air of Fire because then
you're
you get
gonna start
Queen of Shadows.
yeah, you're gonna start reading these books and you're gonna, like, think back to reading Throne of Glass and, like, Crown of Midnight, and you're gonna be like, "Damn, look how far we've come."
It's so good. Like
I'm so excited for you, Leah, you're
once
gonna
you
have the
hit
best
Air of
time.
Fire, that series just completely takes
Oh,
off the most beautiful direction.
Tyler, yeah, you're about to get into the meat of the series. It will change your life.
It will be
Literally, it's Air of Fire is such a turning point for that series.
so good.
Looking at the fan art is my favorite pastime now. I have so many pins on Pinterest and so many things saved on Instagram. I am a little sad though about the rise of AI art though, because I know it's like super damaging to like actual artists. So I try to avoid as best I can like looking at any AI art. Um, so like that pops up a lot on my Instagram, like in hashtags that I follow and stuff, and it'll say like made with Midjourney, and I just unfollow or
Yeah.
block or whatever because it ain't
Beautiful.
good for the art industry. Oh my gosh, Leah, you are in for a wild time.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Would love to see Crescent City adapted.
Yeah,
No,
I can see it. I can see it.
I could see all of these. Like, if the Akatar show does really well, I think that the next
They will
thing would
adapt.
be Crescent City,
I
is my
think so too.
guess.
I think so.
So and then probably Throne of Glass. I could see them all becoming adaptations just
I
because
can
they're so
see
successful.
I can see Throne of Glass being a TV show because it's so a lot. But I can see
Yeah.
Crescent City being a movie and being very successful. I'm just Crescent City is a very long book, and having to compress that into a movie, I don't know how they would do that, but
Yeah, I think TV shows, even if it's a limited series, I think that's the way to go with
yes,
adaptations, especially fantasy
especially
adaptations.
fantasy, I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so many details, especially in Crescent City, because it's confusing. There's a lot of characters, a lot of world building in Crescent City.
Yeah, the mainstream eats at me too. Yeah. Hi, Rachel. Oof, the adaptation. Yeah.
Mm, Rachel.
Rachel, the queen has arrived. Budget is so important. It
I
will make or
completely
break the
agree.
show. Yeah, I think that they have a decent budget.
I hope so.
So
It doesn't have to be like
yes,
outrageous. Like it doesn't have to be like Lord of the Rings type budget. I'm talking about like just make
it
it.
does. It needs
Season
I'm
two.
like saying all this stuff like I'm not ever gonna watch it. I won't even watch the trailer for the show, and I'm like, it needs to be good, Christy.
It has to be good for Sarah J. Maas' sake. That's all I care about.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like that's our Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Crescent City would be a hard adaptation. That would make me
Same.
nervous more than Akatar.
Same.
Oh my God, Tyler, thank you.
Oh my
It
god.
was terrible. It was terrible. Okay, Leah, I don't know what to recommend to you. I personally like the tandem read because of like the cliffhanger and having to like read through a whole book. Plus, I
Mhm.
don't really like one of the main characters of Tower of Dawn. Like, no. So Christina, I feel like has the more unique perspective here on she read only the tandem read. And I don't know if that's the way to go to read it your first time.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
It's confusing. At least for me. Okay, personally for me, it was just a little confusing having to go back and forth because I would want to continue reading um Empire of Storms, then I would have to stop to then read Tower of
And
Dawn. And
go.
I hated the back and forth. My brain just can't compute that much. Having to
Yeah.
keep up with it was a little difficult. So when I do my reread, I won't be doing the tandem read, but I think the tandem read might be better upon reread. But it's very hard to decipher, to be honest.
Yeah. I
It just depends on each person.
I like the tandem read because it's all third person narratives and it's jumping from points of view as it is. And so like you're jumping from following these characters, and then you jump into another character's perspective, but they're all like in the same area, and then these characters are over here. So to me, I like the tandem read,
It
but
also takes place in the same time.
yeah, and the
Like,
story flows better
oh,
to me,
wait,
but like I don't know. I know some people don't like the tandem read, so
I don't know, because now I'm thinking about doing the tandem read when I reread. Because I think it's great for when you reread it. But at the same time, I would be pissed if I
right,
read
like I will never not do the tandem read.
like I would be
Like
so
the
mad.
only thing I would do if I wasn't gonna do the tandem read is I'll just skip Tower of Dawn, and I don't recommend doing that. Like not even for a reread, and like
To be honest, I do think the tandem read is very, very fun. And also whoever created it did a spectacular job
yeah.
in doing it, because it's beautiful the way that it's written. But
The tandem read is like also super specific. You can't just read
yeah,
like 5 chapters and then 5 chapters and then 5
no.
chapters and then
It's
5
like
chapters. It like
five,
tells
three,
you
two,
like
1, 10. Like it's
sometimes you read 3 chapters and then you read 1 chapter from the other book and then you read 1 chapter from here and then you read 2 chapters. So it's like really
and you
specific,
read like
but
100 pages, then you read like 5. Like it's
yeah.
but you have to stick to it. That's the only thing that gets very confusing about it. But at the same time, when I do reread, I really want to just sit down and reread them, which is I think why I would do the tandem read again.
The tandem read is a kind of a lot of like brain power though, like to I don't know. You'll It's also kind of helpful if you like mark off the chapters where you're supposed
That's
to
what I had
switch.
to do. I had to mark them off,
Yeah.
because if not, then I was going to forget.
Air of Fire is that girl. Yep, that's the one. That's the turning point. Something as big as this, I feel they need to cast unknown actors. Yeah, for sure. I
I
really hope that they I
completely
like I feel like also I should probably not voice my opinions on this show because I'm like not gonna watch it. But
I completely agree though. I want
yeah,
actors. I don't know who you are.
yeah.
No,
Haven't seen you play a different role before.
nothing. I don't want
And then you're
anything.
not allowed to act in anything else ever again.
That's it. You're stuck.
That's it. Yeah.
Honestly, same. Yeah, me too.
There you go. Don't recommend the tandem read. Oh, reading Tower of Dawn before Empire of
Before.
Storms. That's a hot take. So Rachel's not gonna do it either. After thinking about it, I think I prefer reading them separately.
Mhm.
I don't, because like I said, I would just skip
My thing
Tower of
was,
Dawn.
though, I did very much enjoy Tower of Dawn, but I do think that even if I was to reread it, I can speed read Tower of Dawn so quickly. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do the tandem read. I
It's like a horse apiece. There's pros and cons to it, so
Yeah,
you got to do
it
what
just
feels
depends.
right.
It depends on like the kind of read you want to do. Also, I
Yeah.
think it's definitely something that you should try. I think everybody should try it because some people will love it. Some people it's just not for
Yeah,
them.
I definitely think it's worth trying at
Yeah,
least
definitely worth
once.
a try. Yeah, definitely worth a try. I don't know. I don't know if I will do it again, but we'll see. I am gonna be pissed though to read Tower of Dawn right after reading Queen of Shadows, but it's fine. I mean, freaking Empire of Storms, but it's fine. It's okay. I'll be fine.
Okay.
So we
We
actually
are
sitting
we
now.
are 40 minutes in here. We are gonna talk about House of Earth and Blood now. Christina and I listen. We never said that we were gonna be, quick
Look, I
with
said
these.
like a long live show.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've just got a lot of things to say and a lot of things to talk about. So,
I
okay,
feel like we haven't had a live show in so long, and then our last live show of Catwoman was literally like 15 minutes.
that one, okay, that is an outlier though because there was just not that much to talk about with
There's
that
nothing
one.
to talk about. We didn't really enjoy it all that much, and we both had the same agreement that if Sarah J. Maas didn't write it, we wouldn't have read it.
Yeah.
So like that's why I think we just didn't have such a long live show, because there was nothing to talk about.
All our other live shows are like well
An
over an
hour?
hour. The freaking Akamath one was almost 3 hours.
That one was like 3 hours long, but we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
We knew the Akamath live show was going to be that detailed because of everything that happens in Akamath. God, the things I would do to reread Akamath for the first time.
Oh my god.
If I could read Akamath for the first time, I think I might cry.
All right, ready? Rachel said, I'm dying. I thought I missed the discussion. I was sad when I hopped in and you guys weren't discussing the book. I was like, dang, I missed.
No, we didn't even start yet, so buckle up.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Crescent City is the only Sarah J. Maas series I've read, and with the ending of Crescent City 2, I obviously need to read ACOTAR. Yeah, you need to read it all. You can do it. Read them all before the next book comes out.
You have
that
time.
way you're just like,
time.
What'd you say?
You have time to read all of them.
I was gonna say, you could skip Catwoman.
yes, you can.
Read all this series.
Catwoman is not necessary.
Perfect. Math was beautiful. Oh, so good. Sarah J. Maas can talk about these books for hours. This isn't surprising in the least. Yeah, we can go off.
Hannah and I can go on for an hour just speculating when the next Crescent City 3 book's going to be released.
Yeah, we just listen. This is fun for us. We like to discuss.
This is what we talk about on a daily basis. Okay, sometimes Hannah and I will just like say we have like a huge group chat of like Sarah J. Maas lovers, like a whole bunch of our friends are in it, and we send each other constant like memes, fan art, everything about Sarah J. Maas every day.
That's like great.
It's my dream. I'm living a dream.
It's great. I love it.
It's a fun time.
So, all new world, all new characters. Let's discuss.
Let's do this, y'all.
One of the main critiques of House of Earth and Blood is that it is a lot of world building in the first like 200 or so pages.
A lot of information.
And it is. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like in a bad way.
It's necessary. In my opinion, I do think that, yes, I understand that like the first 400 pages can be a drag to a lot of people, but it's such necessary information. And every single person that has told me that the first 400 pages or the first 300 pages are a drag love the last 400 pages and all agree that it's necessary, because if you don't get that huge world building and all that info, the last 400 pages ain't gonna make no sense.
I didn't think it was a drag. I just remember being, how am I meant to remember all of this stuff? Like all these different like houses and creatures and and hierarchies and all this stuff. I'm like, I hope I'm gonna get at the end of this.
I remember constantly going back until this day. I still constantly go back. I still don't know who belongs to which house.
Yeah, so sometimes I'll still go and look, or if it doesn't like explicitly say.
It's very hard. So there is like a page that says like House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, House of Many Waters, and House of Flame and Shadow. And it descriptively will say like who's in each house. But like I had to constantly go back and be like, oh, okay, you're going to House of Sky and Breath. Okay, who the heck is part of House of Sky and Breath? Like they would talk about it so nonchalantly, and then like I was like, okay, wait, who is part of this house again?
It is a lot. I will say that, but like Christina said, it is so necessary. And it kind of just like throws you into it a little bit,
which I like. Though.
I like that rather than like the slow or like the main character having no clue and then like questioning everything. I like kind of just being like immersed in it, and I'll just be like, I'll figure it out as I go.
Because I feel like the other two books also like you kind of figure out the world with the main character, whereas here it's like the main character is a part of this world, and I liked seeing it from that point of view. I like being thrown into the world and then just kind of figuring it out as I go, but not figuring it out with the main character.
Right.
I loved it though. I think it was written beautifully.
I also really like all of the like creatures that are in this. Like there's fallen angels, there's fae, there's vampires, there's mermaids, there's witches, there's sprites, there's so many things. Like there's everything. Werewolves. There's everything.
There's so many things.
Which I did really like. And this is of Sarah's books the only like urban fantasy setting where it's like a city and there's cars and there's cell phones and like they have technology and like stuff that we are familiar with, rather than like in Throne of Glass where they like ride horses and carriages and they sword fight because they don't have guns and stuff like that. Like this is very urban, which I do enjoy, and I really like how she did it, how she wrote it. This is technically was like her like foray
First
into adult.
adult. I was
Um,
gonna mention the same thing.
which I still consider her other books to be adult. Throne of Glass is like a gradual from
Up.
like YA to adult, like upper YA to adult.
Mhm.
ACOTAR I still consider to be adult,
I
even though
think
it wasn't originally
Or
marketed that way.
it's definitely more new adult than it was originally marketed as.
Yeah,
Especially when you go into like Akamath and Akawar. Like, sweetie, no. Okay, those are not YA scenes.
right. And I think
This
that
was
was like ultimately her goal is like to transition into
Mhm.
being an adult fantasy writer. And I
And
think,
this is definitely like her adult fantasy. Like that is why
right.
it's so much more complex than her other ones. Her other ones were like dipping your toes into it. This one is fantasy, y'all. Like you are diving into a whole new world and that's it. Like it's Aladdin all over again, y'all.
And there's like, I
But
mean, there's a lot more swearing, which
yeah,
some people don't like. And I'm like, I loved it.
I loved it.
And then like there's like drug use and
Yes.
a lot of sexual content. Not so
There's
much in this first
clubbing,
book,
there's
honestly, but
drinking. There's a lot more adult content, but I enjoy it because here's my opinion on it, right? People who are Sarah J. Maas fans and lovers have been them for years. So you've
mhm,
grown up with these characters.
yeah,
And I feel like the more she writes, the older her audience gets. And I think this just fits the audience that fell in love with Throne of Glass, like what, a decade ago?
right.
So it's like it flows so nicely with her demographic, in my opinion. I think that's why it was just so wonderfully done to really do this as a full-on adult fantasy.
I also think that she wrote this at the right time in her career because she was able to make it as complex as she did
Yes.
because she has developed as an author and she's
Mhm.
like really, really good.
Like this book is
So
so
I
beautiful.
feel like if she had attempted to write something like this when she was like a younger author, it wouldn't have
Wouldn't have been as
it
complex.
right.
Yeah.
It
And
still would have been good, but
yeah,
it wouldn't have
I
been
loved it.
the same.
These books just like they hit home for me, y'all. Like they're just so good. Like these are my comfort reads.
Yeah, same, Tyler.
So
I was never bored. I was like kind of like marinating in it, like just letting it kind
yes,
of wash over me like
that's a great way to describe it. Just marinating in it. I was just enjoying the
Yep.
writing, enjoying the world, seeing it be like figuring everything out. I loved that part. People that probably don't read as much, probably like little bits of fantasy as we do, is probably a little different than to like, just to go into this. But
Right.
it just was so wonderfully done. And to me, I never found this to be boring. I felt like it was just great.
Yeah,
Don't
me
get
either.
me wrong. I do agree that after the 400-page mark, things just take off. And the first 400-page mark, it's like a gradual upbringing. But it's just like I was not bored. Every time I reread it, I'm never bored.
I definitely was hesitant going into this one because when I started reading Sarah's books, I read the Throne of Glass books first and like read up to the point where there was the last book that was released. I think that was up to Queen of Shadows.
I think so.
And then when I was waiting for Queen of Shadows to come out, I read ACOTAR. Maybe ACOTAR came out when I was waiting or something like that. I don't know. But I had gotten familiar with these characters because the books were already out. And so I wasn't ever waiting for like
Mhm.
new content from her. And then when this came out, I was like super nervous because I'm like, this is new. Like this is new to everybody, not just new to
On
me.
you.
So I was like nervous and like, am I gonna connect the same as I do with her other books? So I was kind of like cautiously optimistic with this one where I'm just like, I'm just gonna let it be. I'm gonna I'm just gonna sit with this new world, these new characters, and just, have a good time.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, Leah said she needed to push through the first 50
Yeah.
pages or
I
so. But because yeah, it does,
A lot.
there's a lot.
There's a lot of info dump in the first like 100 pages.
Yeah. All of the houses, all that stuff, and
Yeah.
then like the map. Um, so ironic that SJM's adventure into adult was not spicy at
I was
all.
gonna say the same thing. This is probably like her first full-on adult book, and there was literally like no spice in this book.
There's
There's
not a
not
lot
a
of spice,
single
and
lick.
I kind of forgot about that because, like, I feel like I classified this as, like, having spicy scenes,
But
and
it
when I was
doesn't.
rereading it, I'm like,
There's not a
"What
single
was I thinking? There's literally no spiciness."
one. I think there's maybe one brought up mention of a sex scene in the beginning of it. But
Yeah.
that's it. And I don't know, I loved it.
400-page mark. Yeah, it really it's just crazy how it can do that too.
It just takes off. Like, I remember when I read this for the first time, the first 400 pages took me a couple of days. I read the last 400 pages in one day. Like, the last 400 pages took off for me. I read them all in a day. And I remember, like, that is probably one of my favorite vlogs I've ever filmed because of how much I love this book so much. But I remember, like, it took me a couple of days. I remember reading it for, I think, a readathon or something. And I literally was just reading this book for the entire readathon. And it took me almost like a whole week to read the first 400 pages. The last 400 pages I finished in the last day that I did not think I was going to end up doing. And I was just like, what the heck happened in that 400 page mark? Like, it becomes so addictive. You can't put it down.
I don't read a ton of fantasy and I love this series. Yeah, so I think Sarah J. Maas does a good job of like catering to different demographics of readers. Like, you don't have to be a fantasy reader to enjoy her books. And like vice versa, you don't have to, you know. I think that's cool. It still shocks me that Danica was not the main character. Even on my reread, I got sucked into thinking she was the main female lead, and then bam, she's taken out. Like, oh yeah, that's right, Bryce is the lead. So okay, first main. I don't even know how to talk about this. Okay, I did not read the synopsis for this the first time I read it. So I had no idea what was happening.
I didn't know what was coming.
Into like, what is it like? It's like 50, 60 pages in. 60 pages in. And Danica is brutally murdered. The whole pack brutally murdered. I'm like reading this and I'm like,
I cried.
That hurt my feelings.
I cried. The first time I ever read
already attached.
I was at work listening to the audiobook and cried. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, I remember being like.
And it's in the synopsis. And I hate that it's in the synopsis. I don't think it should be in the synopsis.
Literally, it is in the first sentence. Bryce Quinlan had the perfect life, working hard all day and partying all night until a demon murdered her closest friends, leaving her bereft, wounded, and alone. That is the first sentence of the synopsis. And I never read it, so I did not see it coming. I was like, everyone is gone. Everyone.
The whole damn gang died.
I remember being so shook by that. Like, I literally was like, that can't be right. Like, what?
I was like, wait a minute. What just happened? She just got home. Like, what just happened?
Oh, I don't understand. And like, they did a really, really good job of, Sarah did a really, really good job of like making you feel attached to.
Literally. In such a short time, too.
Right.
Like,
60 pages, and I was already like, Danica and Bryce are gonna save the world. This is gonna be a best friends book.
I full on cried the first time I ever read this. Like, I had an attachment to Danica, and like every time I read it, I forget how fast it happens.
Their friendship, where they like call each other assholes, and they're like,
I know.
Bitch. And I'm like, light it up, bitch.
How it took so long for Danica to finally say I love you to Bryce, and like she mentions that, like, it hits her different every time. Like, guys. Every time I read this, even this time, I forget how fast Danica dies.
Yeah.
Like, we get her for such a long period of time, but we don't. Yes. We do not. And like, for some reason,
literally 60 pages in and she's gone.
Like,
and the whole pack.
The whole pack, not just Danica.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, this Connor, right? Because she's flirting with Connor and she's like, I don't date wolves. And then finally admits to it. And I'm like, okay, so this is like the classic first love interest. And I'm like, okay, I kind of like Connor. He's cute. He's like, you know, wolfy and protective, and dead. He's dead. He's gone. And I'm like, I feel like I got whiplash. I'm like, on board with it. I'm like, oh, they're gonna go on their first date.
No. I want to cry. I felt so attacked. Reading it, like, I need to know what you guys thought about it, because if you did read the synopsis, did you actually see that coming, or like, what was it that, like, because I did not read a single thing. I didn't even know why the book was called Crescent City. I just went into it.
Yeah.
had
I just
all
picked it up and was like, I'm obviously gonna read this. What do I need to read the synopsis for?
right? I didn't need a synopsis. Sarah J. Maas wrote it. I knew I was going to read it. I bought this book the day of release, and I waited like 2 years to read it.
This is also why I don't like reading synopses,
Me
because
too.
sometimes they literally give too much
don't
away.
need it.
In this case, that I don't feel like gives too much away, because you need that information in the synopsis to like know why she's going on like this murder mystery hunt kind of thing. And like
Hunt.
what's going on.
Mhm.
Hunt. So like, but sometimes some synopsises will give away things that happen like over halfway through the book, and I'm like, what?
If it doesn't happen in the first 100 pages,
Right.
don't mention it.
If you
Okay?
can't give a
And I'm talking
synopsis
about
about the book without that, then
and I'm talking about an 800-page book, okay? In an 800-page book, if it does not happen in the first 100 pages, don't mention it. If it's anything less, like around like the 300-400 page mark, if it doesn't happen in the first 50 pages, don't mention it.
yeah, like,
I don't like that.
or
Like,
don't
I like going
mention
into books.
how, like, don't mention like a demon kills her whole friend group.
Yeah,
Like, don't just straight up say that. Say like some tragedy strikes or something like that. Like,
make it as vague
vague.
as possible, please.
Yeah.
But so
I just literally remember reading that scene and like getting to that point, and then like is it part
I
2 right away?
cried.
Where
Like,
it's
I
like,
cannot believe that I genuinely, like, full on, like, I was almost sobbing at work. Like, I was crying.
wait, let me see. Cause like you have the whole point where she's like getting interrogated and all of that right after it all happens. And then it's like 22 months later or something like that. Yeah, part 2. So part 2 happens at page 91.
Mhm.
And I remember flipping the page to that and it says 22 months later. And I'm like sitting there like just shell shocked that I just read
Oh,
that, because I didn't see it coming. I couldn't see it coming from
I
a
couldn't cope.
mile away. I never saw it coming.
I couldn't cope. I couldn't take it.
I still argue that Danica is
Yeah.
the main character. Her presence is yeah, and I mean, she plays a pretty prominent role in the
Yeah.
series in general.
You're constantly
Despite the fact that she dies 60 pages in.
you're constantly getting, like, throwbacks from, like, Bryce's point of view of her and Danica. You're getting constant reminders of Danica.
Yeah, she is key in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
series, that's for sure.
Like, every little thing that happens is because of Danica.
Although I kind of suspected what was going to happen because of how much love is shown between Bryce and Danica at the beginning.
Mhm.
I was shaking reading the part where Bryce finds their, oh my god, it's so, and like the descriptions of it.
Brutal. It was brutal.
I was reading that part about Danica being a pile of ribbons. Yeah, like, and like how she says like they're literally in pieces and they're not like, it's not their body, it's a pile. And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
It was brutal.
is graphic.
It was so brutal.
Don't even get me started on Connor. I love him.
Connor was like,
I liked Connor. I was like prepared to like him.
I was like, I was ready.
Like,
I was ready.
with me.
I was ready for Connor.
Yeah,
like
I was
knew,
ready. Yep.
I knew about Hunt, right? I did, but I was ready for Connor.
Yeah, well, I didn't know about Hunt. I didn't read the fucking synopsis, so I thought that Connor was the love interest of both men.
But because I had waited 2 years, everyone kept talking about Hunt. So I was like, okay,
Yeah,
cool. Hunt's gonna take a part of this. I understand that. But I thought it was gonna be like the regular, like, Sarah J. Maas type plotline, you know? But it didn't happen.
Immediately.
I was like, well,
didn't even actually date. She just agreed to get pizza with him, and all of a sudden he's gone.
I was just so sad because he waited years for that. Like, years. And then she finally says yes, and he dies. Brutally.
Literally immediately, the day he asked her out. Dead.
I'm so upset. Like, it still hurts.
For a moment, I was hoping with all my heart that the deaths were fake. Literally, it took me a second, because I'm like reading this, I'm like, this can't be real.
I thought it was gonna be a dream.
Yeah, or like a hallucination, like, because she did all these drugs, and it was gonna be something about, because like
I thought it
Ruby
was like a
says, like,
dream or something. Like, I really did. And then when it wasn't, I was extremely upset. Like, this can't be real.
oh,
Really?
well, mine does. First sentence: a demon murders her closest friends.
Hold on, let me get my copy.
They maybe have changed it. Maybe people were like, you shouldn't say that. So maybe they changed the.
More editions don't have them.
It's still a best friends book, but in a different one. Tyler! Oh, they think the paperback synopsis is different.
Oh.
So maybe that's what it is. Maybe the hardcover, maybe when they reprinted when they printed out the paperbacks.
Yeah,
I read the synopsis and didn't think about it when reading the book. On the paperback synopsis, it just said a brutal murder, but it didn't reveal who was involved. Oh, okay. But yeah, all of her closest friends.
I mean, yeah. This doesn't exactly say who, it just says all of her close friends, but you'll get the gist.
Speaking of Hunt, I love Hunt. I love
him with my entire well-being.
I remember, okay. I don't want to give spoilers for anything. But Sarah doesn't always stick to the first love interest.
She does, no.
Okay. So I remember like meeting Hunt and being like, I'm not going to like this guy. Because I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I'm just going to find all of his flaws. Because I'm like, he's not sticking around.
You just
But I love him.
I love Hunt Athalar. He is my entire body and soul.
I know I'm getting way ahead, but the Hunt plot twist, yes!
Yo, yes, I remember reading it for the first time and my jaw dropped to the floor.
I felt betrayed.
I hurt. Yep. Like, I swear, I think I felt my heart shatter into a million pieces.
Yeah, I felt betrayed. I literally, because they spent the whole book warming up to each other. It's very much a hate to love, like a begrudging, like allies. They have to work together. They're forced to be near each other, but they don't like each other. And like he judges her and thinks she's a party girl, and he's like, you know, annoyed. She doesn't like him because he judges her right away and whatever. And they spend the whole book warming up to each other, and they finally move past, like, and they like each other now, and they have like the one steamy scene of the book, and then the next scene he's on, like, what a betrayal.
Look, okay, can we just talk about scenes really quickly? I don't want to jump too far ahead.
I know we're already
but I mean, this is like the ending of the book. My favorite scene ever in like book history is the shower scene.
Oh,
okay, it is by far my favorite scene I've ever read in my life. Like, it is my all-time.
It's so sweet.
It is the most genuine, heartfelt scene, and I think that is the moment where their connection really just like shines and breaks through.
Yes.
And every time I read it, I cry and tear up. Every time. When I listened to it this time around, I was literally in my car and I was shedding a tear. And I, like, when I had parked my car, mind you, after this scene, I stopped listening to the audiobook. I still had like 15 minutes to get home. I didn't listen to the audiobook for the last 15 minutes. I just stayed in my car and just like cried for like 15 minutes. But like,
it's just such a good scene. I'm trying to find this fan art for it.
It's told.
You probably know exactly the fan art I'm talking about.
I believe it's in our group chat, isn't it?
Probably.
Hold on. I do think.
Oh, here's one fan art. This isn't the exact one I was thinking of.
That one's beautiful.
But where, she's like helping him, because like he comes back and you can just tell like he's dead and like his eyes are dead.
Yeah, he's completely defeated.
Oh my god, I have so much fan art. I can't scroll through all this. Anyways, okay, I won't waste any time trying to look for it. But that scene is so good. And like, I feel like you kind of see like how much what Hunt does actually affects him. Because it's alluded to earlier, but you don't see it as much. And you don't really see like that he's turned the shower up like as hot as it'll go, and it's like literally burning his skin, because it talks about like he turns the water on to near boiling and steps inside, and then it changes points of view or something previously. And then when you see it with Bryce, she talks about like how hot it is and how like she hisses when she touches the water or whatever, and like how to turn it off quick or like turn it down. And how she like helps him like wipe all the blood off and like shampoos his hair for him. Oh my god, that scene. Can we talk about Bryce's sarcasm? See, in 2 weeks.
I love her.
Her sass is hilarious. There is one scene, that is from it's right here. I have it annotated because it makes me laugh so This is from Roon's point of view, and he's watching Bryce and Hunt walk away, and this is like they're not getting along yet. And it says Roon studied them as they walked by. Bryce would speed up, Hunt would match her pace. Then she'd drop back. He'd do the same. She'd edge him to the right, 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 off the curb and into oncoming traffic. He'd narrowly avoid a swerving car and step back onto the sidewalk. Roon was half tempted to trail them just to watch the Battle of Wills. And my note is just Bryce is such a little shit. The fact that she would like push him off the sidewalk and then
So funny. It's so funny. Wait, was it this one?
yes. Oh, that one's so
Because
good. Oh,
It's so beautiful.
it's
I
such
love
good.
this one because this I
Such a
really,
good
I
scene.
really do feel like it just like captivates that entire scene.
Yeah, that's a good scene. Can we talk about Roon?
Please, please, let's please, shall we?
I feel like I've always liked Roon. I've always liked him, but after reading House of Sky and Breath,
Me too. Me too.
he's like one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Sarah J. Maas male character.
I
So
think he might be one of
rereading this, I was like, I just need more Roon. I just need more Roon Dannon,
I
Crown Prince of the Valvaran Fae.
literally okay. Just read this, okay? He's so beautiful. Okay, Roon Dannon, I kid you the heck not,
So
is
hot.
probably my favorite character ever written. Ever.
It's
Like,
so
here's
good.
the reason why I love Crescent City so much, okay? Characters, probably one of my favorite characters ever in this series. You have one of my favorite scenes ever in this series. And like the amount of attachment I have to this series is just insane, which is why I think it is my favorite Sarah J. Maas series, if not my favorite series of all time. There are so many scenes and characters and things from this series that are my ultimate favorite generally. Like not just of Sarah J. Maas. I'm talking about in everything. And Roon Dannon,
Crown Prince of the Valvaran Fae.
like that, you know that Instagram
Yes.
like that is what's in my head, okay? Because Roon Dannon is just like beautiful, and I cannot wait to get to House of Sky and Breath to get me more Roon Dannon.
I love him with my whole heart and soul. And I also love that they pretend that he's her cousin.
Yes.
And like we know that it's her brother, and like how protective he is of Bryce. Like he's a big brother.
I love it. I love him. I just love him. And like I remember reading this for the first time after reading House of Sky and Breath. I think it was like I read Crescent City for the first time in December, reread it in February for House of Sky and Breath, and then reread it again in like April. And I remember reading it and seeing Roon Dannon, and I was like, oh my god, why is Roon Dannon so much better after House of Sky and Breath?
Literally, when the first time his name gets brought up in the book, I like circled it.
I put a heart through it. I'm like, my husband. wait, because
it's like so out of context too. Like she's like saying like, I don't even know what it was, but she's like, oh, Roon will be there, or something like that. And it's like such a what page is it?
14.
Okay.
That says my husband, and there's a heart on Roon. Look at
that. Literally, it does. It tell Roon I'm busy doing important shit and to go to hell. And then they just like move on from the conversation, and I couldn't move past
I loved it.
Name.
Literally the first mention of Roon, I'm like, I'm putting a heart around my husband.
Yeah, I love him. I love him so much. So yes, then obviously we know because he's the prince that Bryce, since it's his half sister, she is the only daughter of the Autumn King, which gets brought up enough that I'm like, how do people not know about this? Like, how are they able to keep it a secret? But again, I'm going to skip all the way to the end where she makes the drop. And like she says, like, my my name is Bryce Quinlan and I am the heir to the Starborn Fae or whatever. And we get the huge reveal that she has this like insane amount of power, or that she has like the power of starlight that Roon has talked about, like having like just a tiny little bit of it. And oh my God, I know I'm jumping way ahead, but I just want to talk about it. But like when Roon finds out and it's like Roon falls to his knees or something like that, I was sobbing.
I couldn't. I stopped. Like that entire scene.
And like he's like, she knew this whole time.
Yep.
I was telling her about how there could be multiple Starborn Fae, and she was like, she did it to protect him because the Autumn King's a piece of shit.
Which I love, right? Because it's not like she did it for herself, because she could have used this in her own advantage for years against the Autumn King, because she wanted nothing to do with. But she did it to protect her big brother, who's protected her for years. And like, that just makes it so much better, because she didn't do it for herself. She didn't do it for selfish reasons. No, she did it for her brother. And then when he finds out, he's just like genuinely so happy that she's alive.
Oh my God, I just love them. I do also love that they didn't have like the best relationship during this book,
and then
but still like how much he was always there for her.
Yeah, and he always protected her either way. And like, mind you, when she was younger, they did actually have a really good bond.
Right, they were like best friends.
Yeah, and then that fell apart because of her father. And he had no choice but to be with his dad. And because of that, it created like a huge, not like a battle, but like a huge kind of
rift between them.
Yeah, in the relationship. And like seeing them get so much more closer together by the end of the book, like just like seeing that sibling love was so beautiful to see. We're like jumping around and I love it. I
know. I'm like not even following. I'm trying to find where we were in the comments. I'm terrified of Hunt being the first love interest. I know.
I think we all
are. I'm like, I feel pretty secure in my love for him, but I am like, I'm still kind of...
We've said it like since day one. Like Sarah J. Maas better not freaking pull like a U-turn, okay? Like she better not do this to us. Oh my God, it would just cause so much heartache.
The Hunt plot twist didn't make sense to me. Heartbreak. I wanted to punch Hunt in the face because how dare he? Yeah, I
was so mad at Hunt.
I was really upset.
I was so pissed off at Hunt.
All the beautiful tropes and then that. Yeah, that was a betrayal. That one hit.
That one hit in the gut.
The shower scene. Iconic.
So beautiful.
The gun range scene. Yes. Oh my God, I love that scene. And I love how like Roon's like, "You want to show him, Bryce?" And she's like, "All right." And she like gets the gun, and the way that she shoots all 3 bullets basically through the same hole. I love it. I love it. And then Hunt is like, like tries to flirt with her, basically takes the gun and just shoots down.
Hunt was like, huh? Wait a minute. Also, can we also talk about like, the fact that Bryce, even though she is half fae, half human, the fact that her stepfather just like made sure that she was able to defend herself no matter what, and made sure that she like, kept up with her being able to fight and everything.
That also, I
loved
that scene with Micah, which will again jumping around baby, but where she takes like the Gunslayer rifle and Hunt is like seeing this all play out on the screen, and he says he's never seen somebody assemble a rifle without looking while running towards their target. And I'm like, that's because she's a fucking badass.
Honestly, like I love her. I love Bryce. She is honestly such like, I mean, Sarah J. Maas writes badass characters. Like all of them are such badasses. All of them are so fearless. They're all just so fucking great in their own spectacular way. But Bryce is just, I love her. Because she's a badass and she knows it. Like, I love that. Like, she knows. She's like, you know what? You might think of me as this, and that. Like, when she stopped drinking after, like, Danica died, she stopped drinking. She stopped doing, like, she stopped clubbing. She stopped doing everything. Didn't tell anyone. Kept her to herself. And she could have defended herself countless times because everyone always saw her as a party girl. She's like,
I
you don't
like
gotta tell my
her
business.
reasoning for that too,
Oh,
like the way that she worded it, where she says like,
gut.
why should I try to defend myself when it shows who those people are without me even like trying? Like if they're gonna judge me for that without ever getting to know me, like I don't want to know them anyways. Like it shows
So
their hand
beautiful.
before it ever says anything about me. I loved her reasoning for that, or like how she said it.
How it
I
was
can't
worded.
remember the specific wording of it, but where she's like, you know what I mean, but like where she says
So beautiful though.
other people will show her. Bryce's reason behind doing her nails at the start of the investigation.
Yes!
Yes! And,
Yes!
like, that's also a scene too where, like, Hunt is judging her and he's like,
Yeah.
"Really? You have the opportunity to help your friend's, like, investigation here, and you go to get your nails done?" And she's like, "Hmm."
Well,
And then
I'm
she,
like,
like, doesn't say anything right away, and then she tells him, like she does the whole, like, reveal of, like,
yes.
"It was this guy's girlfriend, and guess who I was talking to," and
And
whatever, and
guess
he's
where I
like,
know
"God."
where they're at
He
now.
he's like, "Why couldn't you have just told me that?" And she was like, "I was going to, and then you instantly started being
Yeah,
judgy, so, like, why should
because
I explain myself to you?"
he jumped to like accusations, and it's
Yeah,
like,
he jumped to
don't just
conclusions with
yeah,
it.
you can't just assume. And it's like there's so many life lessons in this book too. Like there's so many scenes that Bryce just like proves everybody wrong,
I love it.
and I love them. I love all of them.
I thought I was going to have trouble liking Bryce at the beginning of the book, but once book 2 started, I knew I was going to love her. I love Bryce.
I love
I love
Bryce. I
her.
love Bryce from the beginning of Crescent City.
Yep.
I have heard from a couple of people that Bryce isn't their favorite character. Out of like all of other Sarah J. Maas characters, which I understand. But I've loved Bryce since page 1. I love Bryce.
I love all of Sarah's characters.
Roon Dannon.
Roon Dannon! My king, my savior. Yes.
I will say, do you
King
know
of
the
my
character?
heart.
I'm home, right? I'll put my crew neck on. I'm like, Roon Dannon, Crown Prince
Crown
of the
Prince of the Bavarian
And
Fang.
my boyfriend looks at me like I'm fucking psycho. He was
I
like,
love that audio too. Now I need to listen to it.
I mean, oh my god, that audio is like perfection because that is exactly how it sounds in my head. Oh my god, I really hope you find it. I think it's on Instagram, is it not?
I love it.
Wait.
I know, dude. I love it.
He is my
He's so
husband.
hot.
My all-time husband. Like, I want to get a huge print of Roon Dannon and just plaster him on my wall.
Above your bed.
Yeah. I'll just, above my bed. No, on the ceiling so I can go to him at night.
Yeah. Christina just falls asleep staring into his eyes at night.
My boyfriend will be like, what the hell is going on?
I wonder if they make full-size body pillows of characters.
Oh my god, I really hope they do because I would spend so much money on this.
Just cuddle him.
Give me all of that, please. Oh my god. Yes.
Danica's mother needs to be dragged to the lowest pit of hell. Hate her. What she did to her daughter and Hunt is unforgivable. Yeah, Sabine, what a bitch.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, that scene where Hunt gets his wings ripped off or cut off or whatever,
Okay.
and
I was gonna talk about that too.
and Amelie is like telling her like, please don't do this. I don't want this, and she's like, I have the right. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, shut up, Sabine. You're on a power trip.
Sabine is such a egotistical asshole.
Yeah, she's annoying. She's been annoying from the start, but like, and just like anytime she speaks badly about Bryce, I like see red. Like when Amelie and the pack were like calling Bryce trash and stuff, and you could see like it was actually affecting Bryce, I was like ready to go. I was ready to do the full Hunt thing and just like grab her by the throat. I love that. I know some people don't like the like overprotective male, but I do.
I love that shit.
I thought that scene was chef's kiss.
I love that trope where it's like touch her and you die.
Yes.
That is my
Where he's like, if you ever speak to her again, I will kill you. And I'm like,
look at her the wrong way and you're dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that is my trope. Okay. In real life, toxic. In books, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'll die for it. I love it.
I do love their sibling relationship, Roon and Bryce's. They're so cute.
They're so cute. I love
And
that.
I like that they end, like, on such a good note, like, they're really, really strong.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Hosab live show so we can talk about him for hours. I know! Every little detail. I can't wait to talk
Live
more about
show is
him.
going to be so long. Okay. Now that we played like that crown, like the Roon Dannon thing, I really want to play you guys Cammy's from Burrows and Books. Her reel that she made with this sound is my favorite of all time. Okay, so I'm gonna shout her out really quickly. Okay, because this is Cammy's. Hold on.
Roon Dannon.
Oh, I remember this reel.
I'm not going to. Roon Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran Fae. Don't flirt with him.
It's so
Don't flirt with him. I'm not gonna. And then that look on her face was like,
that is theater, y'all. Okay, that is trained theater.
Cammy's channel is Burrows and Books. Go
check her
subscribe.
out.
Go follow her Instagram.
Her reels are beautiful. I love her reels. They're amazing.
She's great. I don't know if I'm dumb, but I never saw it coming that she was the heir. Close your eyes, Danica. I thought it was so that they wouldn't see each other get shot. That's exactly what I thought.
Me
I
too.
also did not see it coming. Not even like a little bit until she says, "My name is Bryce Quinlan, and I'm heir to the Starborn Fae." I was like, I thought, the Luna's horn thing. I didn't guess that it was in the tattoo, but I guessed it was somehow having to do with Bryce and that she was more powerful than what, like, we had been led to believe, but I never guessed it until it was revealed.
So I knew that Bryce was going to have a power that we didn't know. I knew that she was going to have a higher power that even she thought she knew. Like that I knew, and I got from like the very beginning. I also knew that it had something to do with Bryce, but I didn't expect it to be in the tattoo.
Yeah.
But when I found that out, I was like, Danica, you smart son of a bitch.
Also, the fact that that was hinted at from the very beginning of the book.
Yes. Like I kid you the heck not.
Like once it's revealed, you're like, damn, how did I not pick up on that?
Guys, it's not even like a little bit. Like it's like full on said.
Right. She talks about like how Danica got her drunk so that they could get this tattoo or whatever.
Ugh, it's here somewhere. I'll find it.
Yeah, Sarah makes us have trust issues with her love interest. She does it that. Yes, Randall Salago. I love that. I also love that he's human and even Hunt has heard of him because that's how good he is. And that he's so good to Bryce. Micah is the cruelest character I have ever read, injecting Bryce and Danica. Yeah, that reveal too, I didn't see that coming either. Until he stepped foot in the like antiquities shop or whatever and says like, I was looking for you. I thought he was a good guy. So I felt like an idiot because he is like the ultimate baddie of this book. And like that whole reveal that, because you get the reveal on the barge when we find out Hunt was involved like with the synth deal or whatever. You get the reveal that Danica was the one that had like taken synth and was the one who was responsible for the Pack's death and like ultimately killed herself. Because she ripped everybody and then herself to shreds, and that's like what the synth does. And I felt so bad for Bryce, like because she had Danica up on this pedestal all book, and to find out that Micah was the one who injected her with the synth, like yes, she was the one who ultimately ended up killing everybody, but because of him, and him, he knew like that would happen because of all the test trials and stuff. Yeah, what a shit. I hated him. The nail salon scene, yeah, I loved that.
The nail salon scene was so good.
I haven't gotten to the end, so I remember all of these things, but not the details. I'm excited to get to it. Oh my gosh, have you not heard that audio before?
All over Instagram.
It
When-
literally.
It's
I
so
love it so much. It's so catchy too.
Like when he's mentioned, that's what comes into my head.
That's
Roon Dannon.
on a loop in my brain.
It's on repeat. Like it doesn't stop. Okay.
Yep. Oh, shake. Yes, the living death scene. And like you knew because they say like his wings will grow back, but still.
Ugh.
Still.
It's so brutal. It was just so brutal.
Sabine speaks awful about Bryce and her own daughter. Like, dude, chill. Honestly though, like she's a bitchin' for what? Like
She
what's
was
the point of
she
that?
was such a bitch to Danica when she was alive, and then when Danica dies, she instantly blames Bryce when she knew for a damn fact if there's anyone who wouldn't do that to Danica, it would be Bryce.
Yeah.
But it's like, what is good with you?
I love Danica, but like I have trust issues with her, and I'm not even done with book 2. How many secrets? Yeah, no spoilers, but Danica is frustrating in Hosab. I'd say it was almost out of character, but we'll get more into that in the next live show. Yeah, Danica. There's so many
Danica,
times where
man.
Bryce is like, Danica would have told me that, and then it's like, oh, but she didn't, and she did actually do this. She just kept all these secrets from you.
Danica had a lot of secrets, like a lot.
Yeah. How they explain that Danica destroyed the pack and herself. Yes. Oh. Yeah. That broke my heart. I will say this series really does flawed characters beautifully. It's so realistic to how we see our family and our friends, even with their flaws. Yeah.
Completely agree with that.
All of SJM's characters are like that, and I love her for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that they're not always like
they're not perfect at all. But a lot of them are like they find themselves as their characters progress.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of secrets in only 23 years. Like, dude, honestly, though, she's got so many secrets. She's a sneaky little fox.
She had so many things to keep to herself.
We didn't talk about Lahaba and Syrinx.
You just took the thought from my mind.
So Lahaba is like such a small role. I feel like she does not have a ton of on-page scenes, but you just like instantly, she's so endearing that you instantly love her. That scene where Hunt comes into the shop and like his first words, because she's like, he's dreamy, and then his first words to her were like, well, aren't you beautiful? And she's like, I love that scene.
I love her. You know what it is too? I think the audiobook narrator, the way she narrates Lahaba makes her so freaking cute. Like you instantly like become like a mother to Lahaba.
Literally, you can be so cruel, BB. I love her like little high-pitched voice.
I love her. Like
and then she calls her BB.
I love her. Love her. Stop, I'm not either.
I'm gonna cry.
It never gets better. Never. I cry. Like, I don't just cry, y'all. I sob every time. Every single time I read that scene.
It's so sad.
It hurts. It like just punches you right in the gut. Like,
okay, that whole scene. First of all, Micah, we talked about him being a dick. Yeah. But him throwing Syrinx into that tank. And
I'm a bitch.
Christina, your face. You just instantly were like,
I was like, no.
But yeah, like him throwing in with that knock, and then Bryce going in after to save Syrinx, and then escaping. Like that whole scene was so intense. So much was happening. And then Lahaba buying Bryce the extra couple seconds.
Yeah. And she was like, the way that she also like just kind of went out was like, this is for my people. This is what my people do.
Yeah. My friends are behind me and I'm not afraid.
I can't. I'm gonna cry again. She's just such a beautiful soul. She's such a beautiful soul. Like, I remember the first time I ever read it, I was like, no, this isn't happening.
My friends are with me and I'm not afraid. Oh,
I can't. Oh my god. I might cry, guys. It might come out.
and she says, "This is for Syrinx." She slammed her little burning palm into the glass. 100,000 gallons of water exploded into the library.
She did the damn thing though.
But then that's the scene where Bryce like is able to get the gun.
Mm-hmm.
That scene where it says Hunt had never seen anyone assemble a gun without looking at it, running toward a target, as if she had done it 1,000 times. She had, Hunt remembered. Bryce might have been fathered by the Autumn King, but she was Randall Salago's daughter. The legendary sharpshooter had taught her well. And then the last line of that chapter is, and she shot that bullet right through Micah's fucking head. Finally! Yeah, that whole scene.
Oh my, it's so gut wrenching. It's like,
and like before Lahaba goes and like sacrifices herself, Bryce tells her like, "You're free. I paid for your freedom. I was gonna throw a party to surprise you."
That hurt.
And she's like, "Let my first act of freedom then be to save my friends."
That hurt. Like, guys, I'm really about to start crying. Like, it really hurt. It really fucking hurt. That part just killed me. Like, she was free and she sacrificed herself. Like, how?
Yeah. Let my first act of freedom be to save my friends.
That
kills me.
Oh my god, I'm crying! Son of a bitch! But like the way that she was like free and she sacrificed herself for her best friend, it was like beautiful. Oh my god, what the heck is happening? I didn't expect
I want to read this scene. I don't know if I can make it through because I'm gonna cry. So she says, "Let me do this for you, BB, for you and for Syrinx." Bryce couldn't stop the sob that wrenched its way out of her. "You're free, Lahaba." The words rippled through the library as Bryce wept. "I traded with Jessica for your freedom last week. I have the papers in my desk. I wanted to throw a party for it to surprise you. I bought you and now I set you free." And Lahaba's smile didn't falter. She says, "I know. I peeked in your drawer." And she says, "You are a free person. You do not have to do this. You are free, Lahaba." And she says, "Let the world know that my first act of freedom was to help my friends." And Bryce says, "I love you, Lahaba, the only words that ever mattered. And I will always love you, BB." The fire sprite breathed, "Go." Kill me! Oh my god! You could just hit me with a Mack truck. That would be less painful. Thank you.
Like the first scene that we get with Lahaba, I instantly started like I wanted to cry. I was like, Lahaba. Oh, where are you, baby girl? I gotta find it now. I know what to hear.
This is a good point too. The "I'm not afraid" part reminds me of Sam from the Assassin's Blade.
I saw that too.
My friends are with me and I'm not afraid.
Literally, page 4. I was like, Lahaba, my love. The minute we could get introduced to her, I already wanted to cry.
I knew once that gun was first shown, it would come into play. Yeah, same. Yes. Silence. My baby.
My beautiful little
I love her so much.
Oh
yeah, it's hard to talk about her and not get emotional.
It's the way that she did it. Like she was just like, because she's like this cute little fragile thing the entire book, and then she just like,
and she was scared of the knock.
She was
whole book.
Yes. She was just became so brave in the time that she needed to be there for her friend. And then the way she was like, "This is what my people did." And I was like, "Oh my god. I love her."
I love her.
Oh,
Lahaba. On a lighter note, the Jelly Jubilee scene.
I love Jelly Jubilee!
The fact, I don't even know if I can find
out about Jelly Jubilee, I started fucking, like, I was like hitting my book on something. I was like, oh my god.
That part is just so funny because like he literally is looking for a towel or something, and then
You're just fine.
he's like, I saw purple glitter, and she was like, did you think it was a dildo? He like blushes, and he was like, what? No, I didn't think that. What do you mean?
That's exactly what he thought. He got so flustered when she asked.
I love it so much. And the fact that like he was like, Bryce, what is this? She's like, it's a unicorn Pegasus.
She said it with such a straight face too. He was like, huh? She was like, that's
Oh
jelly
my god.
jelly.
Yeah, literally she based it off of her My Little Pony collection. I love it. The freaking
He's screaming me. It's so good.
Oh, okay, we'll move on. We'll move on to this.
Yes.
Oh, I know she does do this. Blank was dead. She does do this.
Oh my god. It's like, you know how like and like the TV shows that you watch about like doctors, how like when somebody does die, they have to say that the person is dead so the family
They can start processing.
like yeah. That's exactly what Sarah J. Maas does to like, yep, audience, they're dead. Grief.
Yep.
And it's like
So and so was dead.
It's like, oh my god.
Let's see. What else have we not talked about? We talked about all that.
Did we cover everything?
I think we covered like most of the main plot points.
Danica's death. Lahaba.
I also kind of liked how the like climax scene was written, or scenes where Bryce is in the city and everyone else is like away 5 hours away at the summit, and they can still see what's happening because of how many like cameras and audio and stuff there are. So I like that, like they still got to see her like kill Micah, light him on fire, vacuum up his ashes, and pretend like nothing happened.
Love
And
it.
like the whole scene where she like saves the city, and Ethan, Connor's little brother, coming to help her.
Ethan.
And Sabine is like, no, stay at your post. And he just like cuts the call off with her, and he's running to help. And then Bryce saves him when they're like running through that shelter door or whatever, and she pulls back and pushes him through.
Ugh, I love Ethan. There's something about Ethan too. Like Ethan has a hate for Danica because of what happened before his brother's death, and he doesn't really know any context about anything like that. And then you just kind of have Danica, who's like still sees him as like a little brother, still protects him, but like doesn't defend herself because she feels guilty about exactly what happened, which is why he's so upset with her.
Yeah.
But it's like their brother and sister bond is just so cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one scene I was going to mention, but it's not in this book.
Yeah, I'm trying to be cautious with what
Me
I say
too.
because I don't want to
Like,
bring up
I'm, like,
anything that's in the other
remembering-
book.
I'm remembering because there was one scene specifically that I remember, but it's not in this book.
Declan and Flynn. The frat boys. I love them.
Love them.
I love them. I also love that they flirt with Bryce, and how
Yes.
Bryce was talking about how like when she was younger, she would like shamelessly flirt with them and like practice flirting on them. And now they like genuinely, they're like, Bryce kind of hot. I love it.
Love them.
Oh,
Yeah.
the otters. Yes.
So
They're so cute. And the fact that Bryce would like squeal.
Oh, I loved them.
I love it.
Mickey Waters, yeah. The vacuum.
The vacuum, honestly. Iconic.
Hunt's backstory. Yes.
Yeah. And the fact that he gets sold back to that Sandriel.
Mm-hmm. That shit sucked.
But that's also like when he what am I trying to say? When he like betrays Bryce or like whatever and gets caught up with the synth, I kind of get it, but at the same time I'm like, dude, why can't you have just said something to her?
Honestly, it's all he had to do was just tell her.
because, like, I get that he still, like, wants to, like, help the rebellion because obviously there's so much mistreatment going on and, like, all that, but just say something. The whole city attack scene is still fresh in my mind, so much happens. Literally, so much happens in the last, like, 100 pages.
It's so crazy because, like, you don't even realize that it's, like, that many pages because it all just kind of feels like it's smushed together.
And it's so
Wow.
fast, like, you'd
Yeah,
chapter after chapter after chapter, you're reading
like,
it.
it's literally
Oh,
the fastest thing ever.
the scene, where Hypaxia takes
Yes.
the halo off of Hunt so he can kill Sandriel, and he just because like, Sandriel basically sucks and has
Mhm.
been terrible this whole time, and finally he just kills her and, like, rips her head from her body,
Ah.
finally. Ugh, Hunt. Oh my god, yes, Leah!
Yes! I
The
love this.
pictures!
Loved this because he literally had, like, no pictures on his phone, but of, like, dead bodies. So she was like, "No, we're taking cute pictures." And, like, the way that they would, like, change each other's names on their phones.
Bryce rocks my socks, and
I
then,
love
like,
it.
all the little names that she would change, and then, like, the scene where Sandriel's basically trying to torture him, and she's, like, flipping through all of the pictures, and, like, Hunt is describing them to like, the one of, like, that he took of her when she was, like, drenched in the
Yeah,
rain and, like, sitting on
I
the
love
couch
how
with her and stuff, like, all this cute
and they were
stuff.
watching, what the heck's that thing called? The sport that Ethan played.
Sunball.
Sunball. I was gonna say skyball. I'm like, skyball isn't right.
Yeah, I loved all of that, and, like, how it was, like, a thing from, like, the beginning too, it was just, like, here and there, he'd snap a picture of her or
Mhm.
whatever. Oh, I love that, and that, like, really shows too, like, because Hunt never had a cause to take pictures before, and now
Mhm.
that
He's
Bryce
making
is in his
them.
life, yeah, he's like,
I love that.
"Aw."
Yes.
Yes.
Communicate. You're grown. This is an adult book.
Yeah, the Hind is mentioned in this book, but they are more in the second book.
Yeah, they're not really like a plot.
The Hind is, like, mentioned in passing. Pollux is mentioned in passing, and he's, like,
Yeah.
on in the
They're
book for, like, a
they're
little
brought
bit,
up
but
and they're briefly introduced, but we don't really.
would Micah really have honored his bargain? Um,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know.
I feel like it would have been like what Hunt was saying, where he would have lowered his debts down to 10 people or 10 missions or whatever, and then he would have dragged that shit
Like
out
a
for a
decade.
century. Yeah. Um, yeah. I doubt it because he was such a dick.
Yeah.
Hind, Hammer, Harpy. Yeah, H people, still mixing them up. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
those are
the second book clears up who is who more.
yeah. Yeah, this book
But
definitely
yeah, that's another thing where it was like,
there's a
why
lot,
all these nicknames? Like, just call them by their names. Why does he have to be the
honestly.
Umbra Mortis? Why can't he just be Hunt? Why does she have to be the Hind? Why can't she just be,
Mhm.
um, yeah, pictures that we didn't even know about existed. I know. Ugh. And then like having him have to see through it all after like losing Bryce,
Mhm.
basically. Ugh, so cute. What was even the point of the investigation, Micah? Honestly, he basically set himself up to get caught.
Literally.
Like,
He really
why
he just
why make a big deal about he did it so that he could find the horn, right? That was
that's
the
yeah,
whole
that's really
point.
what yeah, and he thought he was like no matter what, he knew that he would be okay. Like he was like even if I do get caught, nothing's gonna happen. Like he
Yeah.
thought that he could get some way around it, but he really wanted the horn, which is why he had the investigation go in the first place.
Yeah.
That's all Hunt was doing anyway. Hunt was just
Because
looking
he knew somebody else would be able to find it for
yeah.
him. So I want a Bryson Hunt selfie on my wall. I know, I want a selfie with them. Yes, Fury. I I like Fury. I am a little frustrated though that she like ghosted Bryce
Yeah,
for
same.
those 2 years and
Which
then was gonna like deny that it even happened. And Bryce was like, "You ignored me for 2 years." And she was like, "I didn't." It's like, bitch, yes, you did.
Hunt. Oh my god, Bryce tried reaching out to Fury multiple times,
Yeah.
and Fury was never.
And, like, I get that Fury was also going through it and, like, had
Well,
just
yeah.
lost someone as well, but, like,
Still,
I don't know. I felt
she
bad
kind of like
for
let
Bryce about
herself
that.
and Bryce go through it alone when they could have gone through it together.
I do like how badass Fury is.
Same.
And, like, how she has her own helicopter and she's always on missions and stuff, and there was the scene on the barge where Hunt was, like, gonna come towards Bryce, and she was like, "Don't you fucking move,
Yep.
Angel," or something, like, 'cause she was there for Bryce. I did like that part. What do we think Fury is? I don't know. I think she's some sort of classified assassin.
Yeah. What kind of creature is Fury? That I don't.
We can't get into theories.
Yeah. I'm trying not to say
Yeah,
too.
Christina and I are like,
I was
mum's
like,
the word. Yeah, we'll talk theories next
in Crescent
live
City
show.
2, that live show will be just. That's gonna be another Agamath.
Our next 2 live shows are gonna be
They're gonna be long. The last one's gonna be
long.
very, very long.
Yeah,
But the
and
the
trash
Crescent
can, way
City
to go.
2. Way to go, Mika. Yeah.
Even though she ignored Bryce for 2 years, how she appears again was badass in my eyes. Yeah, yep, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our next live show, our last book for the read-along
It's so surreal.
is gonna be House of Sky and Breath. So that live show is probably gonna be well over 2 hours.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're gonna have a lot to
It's
talk
gonna
about.
be
So
a
you're
lot
not gonna want to miss that.
Yeah.
And then we are planning to do a separate live show to discuss theories for future books and spoilers for every Sarah J. Maas book.
Every single one.
So
So please tread with caution for that one, but that's gonna be in like what, maybe 2 months?
yeah, that one will be in a bit, and we're gonna have like other like guest
Yes.
hosts for that. So we'll have
So-
a bunch of the SJM girlies on here to discuss. So that one is going to be incredibly long. I can just imagine it being like 3 or 4 hours.
Grab a
more.
meal, y'all. That's gonna take like a day. We're gonna be there all day.
Yeah. So the next live show, House of Sky and Breath, is gonna be on Christina's channel. And that we'll probably be reading that and have that live show. My guess is sometime early February.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
So we'll let you know though. We'll post on our Instagrams and on our community feeds and stuff like that. But if you haven't yet, you can go ahead and start reading House of Sky and Breath. I'm going to be starting it within the next couple weeks. And I can't wait. I haven't reread that one. This will be the first time rereading that one. Christina, however, cannot say the same.
It'll
be like the 5th reread for her.
It'll be my 2nd or 3rd reread.
So, but
I think
it's at least your 3rd.
I think it is my 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be my 3rd. I've read it a lot. It's my favorite book.
Yes, finish it.
Finish it. It's so good.
Oh, you're close to the end.
Just wait.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Fun. I will try my hardest to be at the next live show. Reading can get lonely sometimes. This was needed. Oh, I'm so glad you could join us.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, we usually try to do it on the weekends around this time of day. And we didn't. I didn't. This was my fault. I didn't post a lot about like when this was going to be. I just kind of lost track of time. So we'll try to post in advance so you have plenty of time. So
I
this is
think
a great question. We should do that.
Yeah, I would love that. Those are always fun.
We started out the read along like alternating and doing a live show one weekend and doing reading sprints, and I think we kind of burned ourselves out a little bit.
It became a burnout because we were occupied every weekend for like 4 months.
It was a lot.
We did it for every single book for Throne of Glass, and then we stopped it at Kingdom of Ash because we fell into such a slump.
Yep.
And we even pushed back that one for a while.
Yeah, we got a little burned out, but it's been a long time since we've done the read along.
We'll do it.
So we'll do it. We'll plan a
Yeah.
day that we can do some
Well,
sprints
literally,
for it. So
this happens every time. After this live show, Hannah and I go into like days, like, okay, what time works for you? What day works for you? What time
we
zone?
schedule it all out. So yeah, we'll definitely make it happen this time. Since this is the last book for the read along, we'll plan it out and we'll make it happen. So we'll do reading sprints, which we'll post about. I don't know whose channel it'll be on. Maybe we'll do one on each of ours. But you'll see it. We'll post about both of our community feeds and in our Instagrams and stuff. So make sure that you follow both of us on Instagram and that you're subscribed to both of us. Christina should be linked down in the description, and you're on my channel, so hopefully you're already subscribed. If not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we will see you all next time for House of Sky and Bread, the last book for the read along. Oh, it's crazy.
It's wild.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you for commenting and for doing this read with us. It's been so much fun. So we will see you in the next one. Bye.